Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive with us.
Always a pleasure.
Today, we're going to step back in time a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
back to the 1980s,
Okay.
to the era of big hair and shoulder pads
The 80s.
and televangelism.
Big time.
And we're going to be looking at the rise and fall of Jim and Tammy Faye Bakker
Oh, wow.
and their PTL ministry.
Okay.
And we're going to be drawing from the American Scandal podcast.
Okay, great.
So buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
It's a story that it kind of captures a lot about that decade, doesn't it?
It does.
You got faith, you got media, ambition, scandal,
Yeah.
all rolled up into one.
And their story really begins as a success story.
It does.
Like, they were pioneers in using television to reach people with their message.
Right.
And they had a message of prosperity and God's blessings.
Right.
Jim and Tammy Faye, they were masters at connecting with an audience.
They were. They really were. They built a loyal following through their charisma, their use of television, and, well, Tammy Faye's, let's say, unique approach to makeup.
Yeah, her look was definitely memorable.
Definitely memorable.
But beyond the aesthetics, I mean, they built an empire.
They did.
With PTL, the PTO Club, and then Heritage USA.
Oh, Heritage USA. It wasn't just a theme park, was it?
No.
It was the whole Christian-themed resort.
Yeah.
Hotels,
Well.
a water park,
Yeah.
even a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where some of the contrast comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because they preached humility and Christian values,
Mm-hmm.
but their lifestyle was anything but.
They were living in the presidential suite,
Oh, yeah.
and there was a lot of lavish spending.
It was a stark contrast, I think, to the image that they projected to their followers.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it speaks to a larger issue within televangelism,
Uh-huh.
this potential for hypocrisy
Yeah?
and the dangers of financial power within a religious organization.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And then, of course, the scandal hits.
It always does.
Jessica Hahn
Yeah.
accuses Jim Bakker of sexual assault. And suddenly their perfect world begins to unravel.
Right. And, it's important to note that the details surrounding this incident are murky.
Yeah.
But what we do know is that PTL, orchestrated by Richard Dortch,
Okay.
paid Hahn $265,000 in hush money.
Yeah. And in the midst of all this controversy, Bakker launches the Forgiven campaign.
Right.
So there's lapel pins, signs everywhere.
Forgiven, yeah.
Was it genuine remorse or a calculated PR move?
Who knows? It's such a fascinating question.
Yeah.
Was this an attempt to control the narrative? Was it a sincere plea for forgiveness?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
Whatever it was, the scandal had this ripple effect and brought in another prominent televangelist,
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Falwell.
Okay.
Bakker initially asks Falwell to oversee PTL while things cooled down.
Right, right.
Falwell, known for his conservative values and his moral majority movement,
Yeah.
thought that she was stepping in to save this ministry.
Okay.
But boy, was he in for a rude awakening.
I bet he was.
When Falwell got a look at PTL's finances,
What did he see?
well, millions of dollars were unaccounted for. Bakker's salary was exorbitant.
Oh, no.
And there were some real legal questions about their lifetime partnership program.
What was the Lifetime Partnership Program?
They were essentially selling timeshares in heaven.
Oh, wow.
And it was a major source of income for PTL.
Yeah.
But Falwell believed it could violate securities law.
Oh, interesting.
So he stopped the program immediately.
I see.
And this caused a major clash with Richard Dortch, who wanted to maintain the status quo.
Oh, so now we have a power struggle.
Yeah.
Falwell's trying to clean up PTL, Dortch is clinging to power, and where's Jim Bakker in all this?
Jim Bakker's off in California waiting for a sign from God to return.
Oh, so he's just waiting for a sign.
Yeah. As if things couldn't get any more complicated, Bakker gets hit with accusations of homosexual activity.
Oh, my goodness.
And this came from a former associate at PTL, John Ankerberg.
Okay.
These accusations, they were never proven, but they were deeply damaging.
Oh, of course. Especially in the evangelical world.
Yeah, it really highlights the power of media and public perception,
Yeah,
especially within these faith-based organizations.
I think that's right.
Even just the whiff of scandal can be devastating.
Oh, yeah.
So Bakker's in exile, waiting for his big comeback.
Uh-huh.
But things at PTL are going from bad to worse.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Observer publishes this huge report revealing it was Dortch who had orchestrated the hush money payment to Jessica Hahn.
Oh, wow. So that's where things really start to unravel.
Yeah, the board meeting that followed was just pure drama.
Oh, I bet.
Falwell comes in armed with that invoice for the hush money and confronts Dortch.
He does.
Yeah.
What does he say?
Well, he accuses Dortch of enabling Bakker's sins,
Okay.
and he demands his resignation.
Wow.
But Dortch, I mean, he was always a fighter,
He was.
and he was not going down without a fight.
So what happens?
He argues that he was protecting PTL,
Mm-hmm.
even suggested that Bakker was innocent,
Okay.
but the damage was done.
It was.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
Falwell makes a move,
Okay.
announces he's staying on as PTL's permanent president.
Oh, wow.
This was a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Bakker's return was impossible.
Okay.
And Falwell solidified his control.
Yeah.
Dortch was eventually removed from the board.
He was.
Bakker's watching all this unfold on television.
He is.
Yeah, and he has a complete meltdown.
Oh, man.
He collapses sobbing while Tammy Faye sings, "The sun will shine again."
Oh, wow. What a public fall from grace for a man who had commanded millions of followers.
I know.
And I'm guessing that's just the beginning of the fallout.
It is.
The legal battles are coming.
Yeah.
And the consequences, they're going to be far-reaching. So Bakker might have lost PTL,
Uh-huh.
but the legal troubles,
Oh, yeah.
those are just getting started.
Yeah, he and Dortch are indicted on federal charges for fraud.
Related to the lifetime partnerships.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all this leads up to a trial that was almost as dramatic as everything that came before it.
But really.
Oh, yeah. The courtroom, it was electric with anticipation.
I bet.
Bakker, clinging to his faith,
Mm-hmm.
believed that God was going to step in and give him a light sentence.
Wow.
His daughter, Tammy Sue,
Yeah.
was there to support him, but Tammy Faye stayed in Florida to try to rebuild their ministry.
Okay.
And the accusations, they hung heavy in the air.
They did. One of the most pivotal moments came when the prosecution called Steve Nelson to the stand.
Steve Nelson.
He was PTL's former telethon coordinator,
Right.
and his testimony could have been really damning.
Yeah, Nelson claimed he'd tried to warn Bakker about overselling those lifetime partnerships,
Yeah.
but Bakker just ignored him.
Oh.
During cross-examination, though, Bakker's lawyer, Harold Bender,
Yeah.
he went on the offensive.
He did.
Oh, yeah. He painted Nelson as this disgruntled ex-employee who
Okay.
wanted to get back at them. And he pointed out some pretty bad things that Nelson had said about PTL and the Bakkers.
Okay.
Bender was relentless. He grilled him about inconsistencies, accused him of taking these big bonuses and loans that were basically forgiven.
Oh, wow.
It was brutal.
It sounds like it.
And then, and this could have come straight out of a movie,
Why?
Nelson collapses in the middle of his testimony.
Oh, my God.
Everyone thought he was having a heart attack.
Oh.
It was chaos.
Wow.
Turned out it was dehydration.
Oh, okay.
But the incident really impacted Bakker.
It did.
Oh, yeah. It seemed to push him over the edge. He had this public breakdown.
What do you mean?
He was hiding under a couch,
Oh.
and he was being attacked by bugs.
Oh, my goodness.
Huh.
How did the judge react to that?
Well, the judge ordered a psych evaluation at a federal prison.
He did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even the prison psychiatrist said it was probably a panic attack,
Oh, okay.
not
Well,
some major mental health issue.
So what happens next?
Well, facing all this pressure and evidence, Bakker realized he had to testify.
He does.
Yeah, if he wanted any chance of not being found guilty.
Wow.
His testimony was quite a performance.
Oh, real?
Oh, yeah. He denied misleading anyone about those lifetime partnerships
Huh?
and insisted everything would have worked out if he hadn't resigned.
Okay.
He even tried to justify the ministry's debt by saying he was, quote, speaking faith.
Speaking faith, what does that even mean?
He was essentially saying that as a minister, he operated under different rules,
Right.
that he could rely on God's providence even when things were bad financially.
I see.
But the prosecution wasn't buying it.
You weren't.
No.
What happened?
They picked apart his defense,
Okay.
reminded the jury about all those lavish bonuses he took while PTL was going broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was this one exchange. It was tense.
Oh, I bet.
Bakker tried to spin things, and the prosecutor just called him out.
Oh.
You could feel the jury getting impatient.
Yeah, I bet.
The verdict was quick,
It was.
and it was unanimous.
And the verdict was,
Guilty.
wow.
All counts.
All the counts?
Yeah.
What were the counts?
23 counts of wire and mail fraud,
Oh,
plus 1 count of conspiracy.
wow. That's a lot.
It was devastating.
It must have been. So then everyone's waiting for the sentencing.
Yeah, and Bakker, he's still hoping for a miracle,
Oh.
some light sentence.
Right.
But Judge Potter, he had a nickname, Maximum Bob,
Oh, no.
sentenced Bakker to 45 years
45 years
in
of-
federal prison.
Oh, my goodness.
You could hear gasps in the courtroom.
Wow.
Tammy Sue, his daughter, started sobbing.
Oh.
Bakker was stunned.
He must have been.
Judge Potter didn't hold back at all.
He didn't.
He condemned Bakker's greed, his lack of remorse, even criticized him for making Christians look bad to everyone else.
Wow.
It was a harsh sentence.
It was.
But I guess it reflected how big Bakker's crimes were and the betrayal that his followers felt.
Right.
Bakker's sentence was reduced.
It was.
Yeah, and he only ended up serving 5 years.
Okay.
But his life was changed forever.
Of course.
The fallout from PTL was huge.
Yeah.
It impacted everyone who was caught up in it.
So while Jim Bakker was doing his time,
Mm-hmm.
the other people involved in this whole thing,
Yeah,
they faced their own consequence.
they did. Richard Dortch, the guy behind the hush money,
Yeah.
he ended up helping the prosecutors.
They did.
Yeah, and got a much shorter sentence.
Oh, wow.
He only served 2.5 years.
Okay.
And then he died in 2011.
So he's gone.
Yeah.
And what about Jessica Hahn?
Oh, Jessica Hahn. Her life took a pretty wild turn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
She posed for Playboy,
No way.
went on Howard Stern's show,
Wow.
even did some acting.
That is quite a change from being a church secretary.
It is.
It makes you think about how these big scandals can
Huh?
really change a person.
I do.
Change their choices, their sense of self.
Yeah. Hahn even said later on that some of the things she did turned her into a cartoon character, her words.
A cartoon character. The spotlight can do that, can't it?
It can.
Shine a light on you, but also distort things.
It's true.
And Tammy Faye,
Yeah, Tammy Faye. She filed for divorce while Jim was still in prison.
she did.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And she ended up marrying Roe Messner.
Roe Messner.
Yeah, the contractor who put up the hush money for Jessica Hahn.
Oh, wow. That's a twist.
Tammy Faye always did her own thing.
She did.
She was outspoken and totally herself,
Mm-hmm.
even when it went against what conservative evangelicals thought.
Okay.
She embraced the gay community.
She did.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
At a time when that was really unpopular,
Okay.
she co-hosted a talk show with Jim J. Bullock,
Okay.
who's an openly gay actor,
Right.
and she became a bit of a gay icon herself.
Wow. She was ahead of her time in a lot of ways.
She was.
Yeah. Sadly, Tammy Faye died of cancer in 2007.
Yeah,
She left behind a complicated legacy.
she did.
Loved by many, ridiculed by others,
Right.
but definitely a force to be reckoned with.
She was in Jim Bakker.
Jim Bakker. After he got out of prison,
Yeah.
he remarried
Okay.
and went right back to televangelism.
He did.
Wow. You can't keep a good showman down.
I guess not. But his message had changed.
It had.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about prosperity so much.
What was he talking about?
The end of the world, the apocalypse.
Oh, wow.
He started a new ministry in Missouri
Okay.
called Morningside.
Morningside.
Yeah, and he was selling survival gear, freeze-dried food,
Really?
telling people to get ready for the worst.
Interesting how he adapted, isn't it?
Yeah, different kind of fear, same audience.
He tapped into something, that's for sure.
He did. He even got in trouble again later on,
He did. For what?
selling a fake COVID cure.
Oh, no.
Had to pay a big fine.
I guess controversy follows him wherever he goes.
Well, I guess so.
And he's still going, right?
He is. He's 84 years old.
Wow.
Still broadcasting from Morningside.
Oh, okay.
Even said once that the PTL club was lost, but now it's found.
It's found.
Yeah. What a story, huh?
It is. The rise and fall and rise again of Jim Bakker.
Yeah. What can we even learn from all this?
I think it's a warning about ambition getting out of control,
Uh,
the line between faith and greed getting blurry,
yeah.
and how the media can shape what people think.
It's true.
That makes you think about forgiveness,
Yeah.
redemption, second chances.
It does.
Yeah.
Can someone like Jim Bakker ever really make up for what he did?
It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Do people deserve a second chance, even after messing up so badly?
It's tough. And what about Tammy Faye?
Yeah, what about her?
Was she just a victim?
Uh-huh.
Or was she part of the whole scheme?
Right.
How do you balance her flaws
Right.
with her compassion and her progressive views?
I don't know.
There aren't any easy answers.
There really aren't.
The story really shows you how complicated people are.
It does. We're all a mix of good and bad, aren't we?
We are. We've gone from the glitz and glamour of Heritage USA
Right.
to a courtroom.
Yeah.
We've seen it all.
Yeah.
Faith, ambition, betrayal,
Uh-huh.
even some redemption.
It's quite a journey. What stands out to you?
I don't know. It's a story that stays with you.
It does.
Thanks for coming along with us on this deep dive into the world of Jim and Tammy Faye Bakker.
Thank you.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.